So the next one is going to be freestyle. So like I said, I love rap. I mean, it's what I grew up on. I can actually trace it back. I was 14 years old, and my cousin was taking me to a basketball tournament, and he turned on Wu-Tang Forever, and it changed me forever in that way. And from that point forward, I mean, I was taken by lyricism, and how lyricism is not just a means of responding to things you see in your life, but it's also a means of showing sort of that depth of what's happening below the surface of each individual. So when you hear an artist use language in that way, in a lyrical way, there's a sense of not only, wow, they're a wordsmith, they can do great things with sound, they're also kind of genius in the fact that they can elicit meaning out of those sounds and reach so many different people. So freestyling is sort of my attempt, I guess you would say, at being an artist in that way, or at least an homage to the artists that I look up to. Freestyling. I disperse into confetti among the bits and pieces of the old brain that seeks to recollect a forgotten happiness. Digression. Rotten apple core of genius that is his, hers, theirs, yours, and then hours trickle away through the bowers of a lively ship as Moby Dick scoots past Ahab betwixt his teeth, Ishmael glued to the mast, waking to his story inside. Like mine, woven of singular design, it is the mainframe of a human mind, with various barrages of words stuck together like a collage. Once caught, pulled tight, taut, like violin strings that sing to special places. Beds, like sweet ones that come clung to an unsung hero or to a goddess of dreams. She tells men what shall dwell well inside the hell that is their heads. Queen man, your song sung beautifully from buggy and gnat, only be but a moment. You spell, then pervading such inscrutable bliss, Miss Mercutio kiss is nothing mind missed. Interest now fits in a thimble. Ingest too much and find yourself thick. Stick with the familiar, perchance the lances of sickle tongues smite your heavy mind with but a memory of mine. So of course, I mean, you can hear the literary allusions I make there with Moby Dick and then Romeo and Juliet. I remember when I wrote this, Gail, the person that wrote my foreword, that was one of the first things she said is, I don't know how you're able to do this, but you take this lyrical style of a hip hop artist and then mesh it with sort of this scholarly work that you do and focusing on why you see what you see in the words that you read from these artists that you obviously love. And I can remember specifically the reason I chose Moby Dick and Mercutio from Romeo and Juliet was because those were, Ishmael and Mercutio were two of my favorite characters in undergrad. And so when I pulled those characters out, the first thing I thought is, okay, what would they want to say or what would they try to think about when hearing this poem? And again, it came back to this idea of what was their story, what were they trying to tell, what was inside their mind that we couldn't really get to. So that's freestyle.